evening and morning, for all the 6 days. But for the Sabbath day, 7th day, there was no evening and morning. God entered it, but it didn't end. So when you look at that...
That is the... What are people... maybe I'm missing something, but when people are trying to get out of the Sabbath, they're like, oh, this... I think that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that he didn't say evening and morning on the 7th day. What is your point? There was no Sabbath? Like, think narratively here. Like, oh, there's an anomaly in the first mention of the 7th day that's interesting. Therefore, what? You people are, you guys are like exposing yourselves to being ridiculous. Like, here, let me be nice about it. It's like, come on, man. Come on, bro. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. Why not just acknowledge the Sabbath? And you can't do it. Why can't you? Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath. The Sabbath is the 7th day. God gave it to them. Yes, it's interesting. Let me muse about the interesting fact that there's no evening and morning on the 7th day. Yes. It seems there's some sort of theological pattern going on here that's utilized by the authors in the future of Scripture, inspired by God. Like, yes, there's a millennium. And if you follow a straightforward reading of the text, there's about 7,000 years of history. And the 7th day is like the millennium when Jesus returns. It kind of seems like there's a pattern there. The early church fathers wrote about this. John in Revelation talks about there being no more need for night. It's not literal, it's a theological theme, right? Obviously, there's going to be a sun and the moon in the new creation. And so the idea is there'll be no more night when Jesus comes back. And it's kind of a prophecy of the messianic eternal kingdom after the marriage of the man and the woman. Sure, yeah, it's cool. I see that. But using that a little anomaly to just like, oh, look at this anomaly, therefore we change the Sabbath, or the Sabbath is done away with, or sorry, just acknowledge, depending on where you're coming from. I get why Presbyterians try to make the Bible say it, but why a Catholic or an Orthodox? Well, first off, the Catholics are the Antichrist system. That's a system, not a person, at least until the final one. Read what they said historically. We're the church. We changed it. Hot nanny nanny boo boo. But of course, that doesn't hold water. But if you're an Orthodox, I want to exhort you to say, consult your apostolic constitutions. You're in a position where you can honor the Sabbath and recognize that it wasn't done away with and that you added Sunday. But don't go with the Catholics on this. Your constitutions say the early church kept the Sabbath and they also kept Sunday. The earliest church, I don't think, kept Sunday. They certainly didn't keep it as a new Sabbath. That you can see how that happened historically. If you want to, I would ask the Orthodox to please not identify before the split when the church was going in the wrong direction with a single head pontiff making declarations. I would say avoid that. Say you don't agree with that, because you don't really agree with that. Even though those councils, I think, said don't do Sabbath because it's Judaizing. That's anti-Semitic. I would say flee in the other direction and be ecumenical with the Protestants that are the most like you, like the Adventists, who agree with you on so many things. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I want to encourage the Orthodox to agree with Adventists on this. I would call for that, because I've talked to my Orthodox friends and other Orthodox, and it's a split. There's Orthodox arguments published online that go with the Catholics on this. And then I've had friends that talk about this and acknowledge, look at your apostolic constitutions. In fact, I'm going to make a video on that.